would say of all the data points that I've encountered over the last 15 years investigating the nexus between energy and environment, the data point that's leapt out at me most strongly is the fact that since the year 2000, the world has greened by 15%, and primarily in semi-arid areas. So let's just walk through that for a second. So 15% is a lot. It's bigger than the entire landmass of the United States. And green is a lot different than brown or dead. And semi-arid means that plants are growing in places that are damn near deserts. And as far as I can tell, that's pretty much the opposite of what the climate apocalypse prognosticated. And more than that, I can't shake the suspicion, and I would love to be corrected on this if you can see somewhere that I'm wrong. Why the hell isn't that good news, especially when it's also allied with the fact that our crops are much more productive as a consequence too? So I could say, hey, look at this. It turns out that there's no more effective way of delivering fertilizer for plants worldwide than to burn fossil fuels.
Yeah, so let's back up on the science for a second first. So plants love CO2, right? We pump CO2 into greenhouses in order to get the plants to grow better. Right now in the atmosphere, the concentration is about 420 parts per million of CO2. We raise it to over 1,000 parts per million in greenhouses to help the plants grow. The CO2 not only lets them grow faster, but it lets them use water more efficiently. They don't have to open up the stomata and lose water as much. Your 15% since 2000, if you'd asked me, I would have said it's more like 40% since the 1980s, all right? So, yeah, things 40%. Are growing better on Earth since 1980, right? Something called the leaf area index has gone up. NASA produces maps that show this. They write press releases that show this, but somehow it's not really present in the media.
Okay, so how come we can't take the stance that carbon dioxide is a net good? Because that's such a walloping statistic. 40% since the 1980s. I mean, I don't know of another set of data that has, well, let's call that scale. Right, that's really something. And green... That's important, right? And if you look at the agricultural yields and so on, whether it's in the US or India, has been going gangbusters on producing crops. This is certainly one of the benefits, and it's a significant one. That has to be weighed against hypothetical, detrimental effects from global warming. And the net of them is a few percent. Again, it's in the noise. You can't distinguish it. There are other factors about human well-being that are much more important than whether the climate's changing or not. So, if I were to be a little snarky, it's almost a nothing burger. The science says that if you read the reports, but the detrimental effects get hyped up by various players.